Hi guys, and welcome back to Door to Phantomile. Last time we travelled up to Bell Hill, we met an evil guy with a galaxy in his cape, and we found a pendant. And then Grandpa told us to come here, to Forlock Forest. We've got a load of new enemy types. First up is these swinging monkeys. Pretty easy to deal with, although there are a few variations on them that are a bit harder to grab. Also, we're not rescuing those little Klonoa type creatures that we were rescuing in Breeze Gale. Instead we got these, the Forlock guards, I believe they are. 3D action. You just throw enemies at the guy there to kill him without having to get onto the actual area behind him. Those guys are a variation of the shield enemies we saw the last time. They're a bit harder to deal with, just because they have a big spike on their shields. There is a better way of getting up to that fairy, but I forgot about it. These enemies, another new enemy, giant pain in the ass. They'll spin around the platform for a while and kill you. Then they'll pop out of their shells. It's a classic platformer enemy, basically. It's invincible until it chooses not to be. Thankfully there's an extra life right over here. Those alarm clocks, I mentioned them last time, but didn't actually know what they were. And it was pointed out in the thread that they are checkpoints. Which is nice, especially when some of them are slightly hidden, like the one we saw over here. Throw that guy over there. There's another guard. And we can just drop down here to get back. So yeah, that's our introduction to keys. It's the usual deal. One key opens one door. Keys aren't often found too far from the door they're needed for, so we're rarely going to be hunting around for a key. What's this nice little spiral section? You can see the two flower birds slash eggs, one orbiting the other. Obviously no prizes for guessing which one has the more valuable prize inside. Middle one gives us a gold heart. And the spinning one has a guard in it. So we're up to 4 guards now. Shoot into the screen to grab this guy. That spike wall spitting enemy kind of reminds me of Phantomile from Digimon. I don't know if it does that for anyone else. I think some people might have Hamtaro thoughts, but a whole bunch of enemies here. That egg down there is particularly difficult to hit, because we need to do so from that moving platform there. So no prize for guessing that there's a guard inside. Several deaths later. This is something of a precarious situation, because these platforms are always moving back and forth. The platforms around here are very thin, and there is a little bit of inertia in Klonoa's movement. So it is very possible to slip off of platforms if you get too close to the edge. Checkpoint action. And another guard. Now having to be very careful dodging these spike balls because we're down to 1 health. Thankfully there's a heart right up there. After the fast trying to grab those in Breeze Gale, I decided it's not worth going for that. It's 5 gem. Thankfully it's easy to grab these ones. And that's the level clear. After talking to the cutest soldier ever. Six out of 6 for the guards. So we'll save our stuff. We can't go any further in the forest, so let's go to Jugpot. This is the game's water world. First thing we see is these little moving balls. They're not really anything of relevance to us, but the moves will use them to roll around, and they'll knock us back if we touch them, though they won't do any actual damage. First new enemy of the world are these little spike ball spitting ant things. Yes, that dastardly Guardius has caused Forlock's waterfall to flow backwards, meaning no water gets to go to Forlock Forest. Another new enemy there, those little fish-like creatures. they'll jump up and oftentimes stun you down into the bottomless pit beneath. There's something of a pain in the arse. There's ants there. They'll just spit a few spike balls out of their rear end. Those balls can also give us an easy way of getting up those high jumps without having to have an enemy on hand. There's a Moo there, just casually floating down the river. We don't want to wait for another one, so grab one from here. So we need to throw him down there. This is the stage where doing the double jump to throw enemies beneath you really starts to become a key technique, because there are a lot of enemies standing on those thin platforms that obviously need to be gotten out of the way. And there's these water cork platforms. We can use them to get up onto these little hanging gardens, but then we lack the distance to get across to those. It's this platform here. So we need to use the water spout to get up, and then use the enemy to cross the gap. These big black and red spiked balls. They're fairly easy to dodge. You can jump over them with a single jump. They'll come into relevance later. Grab these guys, and there you see, using the double jump to throw enemies beneath us is really the only way we can cross this section. Because otherwise we'd go down, we'd hit a Moo, and we'd end up getting stun locked into the pit. And this is really the first area where the blue ball, those bouncy balls, really start to become something of a danger, because they run the entire length of that platform, and if we touch them, we're probably going to end up getting knocked off. We can jump off the edge of that platform, get back here if we wanted to, for whatever reason. Enemies don't respawn on the balls, which is something of a saving grace. Let's just get into this giant jug. Checkpoint in front of us. This guy being a right ball leg. Blast over to get a heart. There's this route that runs down to the next section of the level. But obviously the next section of the level is only so useful when there's a guard over, when there's a Jugpot soldier over here. So we can just run down this section and use the ball that's bouncing along these thin platforms. That's another soldier. I do really like the design of Jugpot soldiers. Like I mentioned at the end of Forlock, they are pretty much the cutest soldiers ever. And the Forlock guards are pretty cool as well, but they're more cool than cute, like the Jugpot soldiers are. Just another bit of great visual design in this game. And now, a water slide. jump over these guys. We can run down the water slide, but that's kind of defeating the point. Just let it take you and jump over the enemies. Because why wouldn't you do that? It's a water slide. We can throw that to kill these giant guys. But the problem with that is that, again, there's a guard there. And a golden heart, which we kind of need at this point. I'll grab a hold of this guy. We don't need to, but we might as well. And get a first look at what happens when you shoot one of these guys. We can't inflate them to the point where we can pick them up, but we can jump. But we can then use them as a platform and jump. However, we only have so long to do. We only have so long to do the business before they revert back to their normal state, which, obviously, in that last situation would have been curtains. More water slide. I noticed the golden heart didn't completely refill our health. I believe it only refills a heart and a half, which is good enough for our purposes at the moment. There's our intro to switches. We shoot it with our wind gun, and that's it. And now greatness. So yeah, Carol is awesome, basically. Nice little disguised loading screen. Boss time. And yes, now it's time for us to beat up Carol's mummy. Pamela only really has two real attacks. There's these bubbles that she'll shoot down from the top, and also the dash so that she'll move across when she jumps across the battlefield. These spike walls are a constant threat, so we need to keep moving to dodge these. And occasionally Sea-Dog will jump onto the balls and ride it down to that area where the two sides of the battlefield intersect. There's no real reason to jump from one side of the field to the other. So the routine is really grab Seed off, throw him at Pamela when she charges. Lango, Pamela doesn't gain any new attacks as the battle goes on, so this battle can be a little bit boring compared to that fight, because there's never anything new going on. It's always dodge the bubbles, dodge the charge, grab the king, throw him at Pamela. Keys you might have seen earlier is to always jump over the ball that's right behind you before grabbing the king. Otherwise you're going to get hit by the ball. Only 4 soldiers. But we'll turn the page after the fireworks, and I'll see you next time back in Forlock.